Hi, I'm Jacqueline Woolley, professor and chair in the Department of Psychology. As Halloween approaches, parents of young children experience multiple, sometimes conflicting emotions. They feel the excitement associated with seeing their young child all dressed up and trick-or-treating, but at the same time, some parents worry that their child will find Halloween too scary. What's at the root of this concern? Well, the basis for this concern, I think, is that often parents believe that children are unable to distinguish fantasy from reality. Parents worry that when their children see other children dressed up as monsters and witches, that they'll think that they're encountering real monsters and real witches. And hence they'll be terrified and perhaps even traumatized. Well, my research shows that despite occasional errors, children are actually quite good at making the fantasy-reality distinction, by about the age of 3 or 4. Our research also shows that preschool children use many of the same cues that adults use to make this distinction. For example, preschoolers are much more likely to think that something's real if a doctor uses it than if a dragon uses it. So they pay attention to context. Children also use the presence or absence of evidence to figure out whether something is real. So they are really operating like little scientists. So are parents' fears unfounded? Well, not entirely. First, certain things can disrupt our ability to make the fantasy-reality distinction. Experiencing a negative emotion, like fear, is one of those. Also, our research shows that certain children are more likely to believe in various entities than other children. In one of our studies, we taught children about a Halloween fantasy figure called the Candy Witch. She comes to children's houses on Halloween night and gives them a new toy in exchange for their candy. We found that some children believed more in the Candy Witch than others. For example, children who already believed in a number of familiar fantastical beings like the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus were more likely to believe in her. So, first, parents should understand that children can differentiate fantasy from reality. And second, they need to realize that children aren't all the same. Some are better at it than others. And finally, there are things that parents can do to prevent their children from getting scared. One is to let them see people putting on their Halloween costumes. If they can see the transformation, they'll do better than if someone suddenly just appears in front of them. There are also things that parents can do if their children do get scared. Here, it's important to remember that children do understand this distinction. They just can't always keep it at the forefront of their consciousness. So, parents might want to remind them, just as an adult might remind herself when she's watching a scary movie that it's not real. Or you can just let them go and let them be a little bit scared, because sometimes it's fun to be scared on Halloween.